Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to continue with our first floor, transforming these lines into 3D shapes. But before we begin, let's switch off some layers first. Which is the ground floor, which we won't be needing right now, and also the 3D ground floor. Nice, so now we have the lines from the first floor. Let's start with our outlines. And let's switch off the walls and the columns so we don't accidentally select them. Before I forget, let's make the outline layer the current one, the 3D outline layer. Okay, let's get started. Let's use the extrude curve command again, and let's set the distance to -50 centimeters, because we're going to extrude downwards. And let's make sure our solid option is set to yes. So -0.5, and just hit enter. As you can see, the solid option is already set to yes, so that's nice. And that's it. Those were the outlines. Pretty fast, right? So let's continue with the walls. Let's make the walls layer the current one. And let's change on the 2D lines from the wall. Now let's select the walls. Let's do this. Let's right click and do select objects. But let's make sure you deselect the outlines from on the left, because we're going to tackle that wall when we're going to model the skin. So with our wall selected, let's execute the extrude curve command again, and let's use again the same settings as before. No, we can't, because we need to find out until what length we need to extrude the walls. For that we can simply turn on the second floor, and let's look it so we know where to extrude it to. Right. So, because the direction is already set to the Z automatically, you can simply just snap to any point of the second floor, and the walls will automatically have the right height. So the last thing that's missing are the columns. So let's make the columns layer our active one. And let's start selecting our columns. We first need to turn on the layer, of course. This row, and also the rows from the facade. Now simply execute the extrude curve command again, and snap to the second floor layer. You can snap at any point because the direction is set to Z, so it doesn't matter where you snap. So those were the lines we needed to extrude for the first floor. Let's continue with the second floor. And by doing that, let's turn off everything from the first floor, so we don't get confused or we accidentally select stuff. You can't switch off a layer if that's your current layer. So let's make temporary the default layer current layer, and let's switch off the first floor. Okay, so with the second floor active, let's already turn on the third floor, so we can snap to it when we're going to extrude the walls and the columns. And let's also unlock the second floor layers. We're going to use the outlines or the lines in that layer to make them solid. So let's start again with the outline. Let's make the outline layer the current one. And let's select all the lines. You can simply right click and select the option select objects. Of course from the 2D layer, not the 3D. Alright, so with the line selected, let's execute the extrude curve command again. So let's set the distance to minus 0.5. As you can see, the distance, the previous distance was remembered. Right now remember the settings you use from the previous command. As you can see here, the distance is 5.25, which was the distance from the floor-to-floor height from the walls. It's pretty neat. Alright, so those were the outlines. Let's continue again with the walls. So let's make the walls layer the current one. And let's select again our walls. This time let's just simply use a selection window because it's a little bit more fast. So now everything got selected. So let's first lock some layers so we don't accidentally select them. Which were the columns and the outline. So we can also just turn them off. So now when they're turned off, you can do a selection window again, and as you can see now only the walls got selected. So with the walls selected, let's run the extrude curve command again. And simply snap to the floor above, which is the third floor. The last thing missing from this level are the columns. So we can simply select them and extrude them to the right height. We just need to be careful because on the left they have a different floor-to-floor height than on the right. So let's first lock some layers so we don't accidentally select those, which are the walls and that's it. So now simply make a selection window around the columns and execute the extrude curve command again. So now simply select again snap to the floor above, and you see the columns got nicely extracted to the right height. So let's continue to the ones on the left. So it's the same procedure, just simply select them and execute the extrude curve command again and snap to the floor above. This brings us to the end of the chapter. We're not going to model the rest of the floors because it takes a lot of time, and I want to use that time for actually modeling the facade because the steps are basically the same. It's like selecting the lines and using the floor above to find the right height. So the next chapter we're quickly going to model the interior ramps and stairs, and after that we'll finally jump into the modeling of the exterior.